we sitting here shooting the shit, and I figured why not make a recording of that because y'all don't see our faces as much as y'all probably should because we luminaries like a motherfucker. So
in the lab all the time,
yeah,
work and work and work. No, which is actually I don't know. Not I don't know. It's a good thing to be so occupied with what we're doing and what we're trying to produce and create that we sometimes don't have the ability to just jump off. Now that's
right.
not an excuse, right? Because you see people who came on stage, Danny Quick, and whoever else, right? Like they constantly producing and
I
doing
never
this part
seen
of
them
it.
in the same place at the same
They're the
time.
same person, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you never convince me
yeah.
otherwise. So I think that it's good that we're able to continually work and continually produce things that are of value. But at the same time, I think we often should
My
we need to be
apologies.
able to step back and I don't know, shoot the shit, talk about what we're doing. And I do think, well, I did talk about it on a Blurred's Eye View,
Mhm.
a teaser of the project that we're doing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Blurred's Eye View
Shit wasn't
with that crew
authorized.
or whatever. You know, what's he
Wasn't
gonna do? He
authorized.
whoop my ass?
Right.
you know. So again, we're venturing into some new territory. A pretty historic partnership, if you ask me. So I'm loving what's coming from it, and I know you guys will too. Especially when we're able to fully express what
Announce
we're doing, right?
the whole thing. Hopefully, y'all come out y'all pockets is what interests me. I mean, I want y'all to be happy and shit. At the
Jason wants
same
your money.
time, I do
Jason,
want some money.
Glom Gold, Screw Philip Reeves.
I'm gold. Yeah, I keep doing Scrooge McDuck. I need to stop.
Glom Gold,
I'm
right?
Glom Gold, son. I just want to be the number two. Oh man, that's on Clown Gold. I'm about to get that tatted right here. Clown Gold, baby.
Hey, man.
Yeah. But yeah. It's a fun project. It's a light project. And it's something to kind of transition us, I think, to into making this comic business or businesses more sustainable. I hope. Like, and that's why I'm focused on not all of not it's not everything, but I'm focused on building the capital is what I'll say. If I say it in a professional manner,
Right.
like it'd be great.
I think that it's important also in that we talk about ourselves as creators, right? Like a lot of us say like creators, but we also say like, oh, comic creator, right? But creator goes into that. Then we also then end up pigeonholing ourselves into doing only one form of creation.
Mhm.
And then we don't understand why sometimes it doesn't work or sometimes why we don't get the results that we want. I think of people like Rob Rodriguez and directors, right? Who
Mhm.
also are sound guys, or they
Right.
started out as makeup guys, or you know what I mean, or even music, like Michael Giacchino, right? Like he started off doing soundtracks
Right.
and orchestral pieces, and now he's a director.
Right.
Because I think that sometimes we need to push our creativity forward. Not that comics is an end, like like a dead end at all,
Mhm.
but I think that there are so many expansive things that we can do in terms of creation to open up that market for what we're doing and what the stories we want to tell. There are multiple ways to tell stories,
Well,
and I
I
think that kind of gets to it in certain respects. Or it's there are multiple paths to being able to do that, and exploring them
right.
helps. Is what I'm trying to say.
Right. I've always been a firm believer. Like I love the idea of people who are jack of all trades. I kind of think of myself as one, and I like to be able to utilize all those talents in and put it toward the business or put it toward the project. The more we can do that, the more we can gift ourselves time to do that, I think is really dope. I think that's what we should always strive to do. So yeah, I'm 100%
And we're
with you on
all
it.
of us are in comics because we love comics, right? Like
Right.
we're not in it because we're gonna strike gold,
Hmm.
right? So when I think about that, I also think about the other parts of it in terms of like what else did I love growing up? Like I loved
Hmm.
action figures, I loved
Right.
board games, I loved cartoons, I love you know what I mean? Like so
Right.
it's kind of I never operated from a place of like I can only do this one thing. Like I'm in
Right.
comics, so that's all I can do.
Right.
Like nah, man, I want to tell stories, I want to play games, I want to do all these other things
Right.
because like, when I was growing up, superpower figures and on and on and on,
Hmm.
they had comics in them. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like He
Absolutely.
Man came with a little mini comic, so
Right.
all of it was kind of tight. You had the
Right.
He Man figure, the mini comic, and you went home and watched the cartoon, right?
You know why?
You know,
Because they was trying to make money.
exactly.
Disabuse
So
yourself
circle
of
back.
disabuse yourself of the notion. You should go watch the Toys
The
That
toys
Made
that
Us
made
on
us.
Netflix. It will help to disabuse you of the notion that they made it so that you could be happy. Again, they may or may not wanted you to be happy.
As a
But they
byproduct.
wanted right.
That's a byproduct.
Exactly as a byproduct,
Yeah.
but they want that money. And you gave it to them, so give it to them. Let me I'm playing with y'all.
I'm not. I don't know. I'm just not the one who's going to say it. I mean it, but he can say it.
He's a shrewd human being. No. So yeah, I agree with you like 100%. I like toys. You know, sometimes y'all see me post pictures of them. I even collect toys of.
Got a whole.
Yeah, you can see.
Stuff back here,
Look, man, I really like the vulture from no what is it? Homecoming.
Yeah.
Thought it was a great design.
Yeah.
Spent a couple of dollars on that thing. Like that was crazy.
You know what? I will say my two favorite vultures are that one and then the one that they did in Across the Spider-Verse, man.
That was
I like that Da Vinci vulture. That's
dope.
hard. That was
dope.
dope.
That was dope.
Yeah.
There's no figure of that.
Right.
Like they didn't make one for that. It's weird that they didn't make like
any figures.
6-scale figures of well, actually they did Miles. They did a couple versions of Miles. They did alternate Miles, but that's it. And those kind of exist. I'm talking Hot Toys. Yeah. Those kind of exist in not a Spider-Verse line, but a Spider within the Spider-Man line.
Right? Yeah.
And I think they did Gwen. I think I don't. It's vague.
Did they even do Miguel?
They did Miguel.
Okay.
They did 2 versions of Miguel. The second version is the dope one. I would love to buy it, but that thing's like $400.
Damn.
Yeah. So
support the next campaign. He wants to buy Miguel, y'all. We need to.
I am open to spending some of your money on Miguel. I honestly don't have enough brown. You know, I collect all kinds of figures, like whoever I like. But since I'm a black man, I like to have a lot of the black figures, right? I'll show y'all. Y'all will see a video. I have a whole Wakanda out there in my toy case, or on top of the toy case rather, of different figures. And then I have my own black figures and all that stuff. And you can see Morpheus back there. But I don't have enough brown figures, and Miguel is a brown character. I would love to have also that figures goes hard because the design from the movie goes hard, especially in 6 scale. And the suit lights up, so you know, I'm a collector when it comes to 6 scales. I don't really do regular toys as much, like or like smaller scale, like 1/12 or whatever. I should have. You know, I would have more figures. I would have more figures, and I'd be less broke. But it's something about 6 scale figures just resonates with me. Like it's my thing.
Speaking of figures and broke, there was a conversation in one of the groups I'm part of, and it spirals out of a larger conversation about representation and Eric July signing his deal with McFarlane Toys to get some of his figures done, right? And then the conversation was like, oh, the want is there, like why don't more indie creators do it, or blah whatever. I have my own thoughts. And I've crunched the numbers as well. So my thoughts go in with the numbers.
He's been crunching numbers for a minute.
So I wanted to know your thoughts on maybe not the Eric July thing in total, but the conversation of when we see something in the mainstream happen, and it's always like, well, why is it indie doing this? Why aren't the creators that we like doing this? Again, as it pertains, we're talking about 6 scale figures. We're talking about
they like us. I know. I get what you're saying. So here's my thing. Whenever a conversation pops up, you got to take into account where that conversation is popping up to. And, I'm gonna do my best not to shit. But whenever that conversation pops up, and it's always like, why aren't black indies doing things? Guess what? They're 9 times out of 10 they were already doing it. Yeah. You just didn't see it, or you didn't pay attention, or you didn't care. So with toys, You've been doing toys since I know you. You're a toy guy. I have produced at least one 6 scale in the time that I've been here, a Paragon 6 scale. Sitting right next to me actually. He's headless at the moment. But yeah, Paragon exists. That's the one thing I can tell you about One Nation. It exists. I had a Sundiata in the works. It's coming. He has a head sculpt that I'm painting. Where is he? Ah, here he is. Boop. Why haven't indie creators been doing it? We have been doing it. We have been making it work, or trying to make it work for a while. We keep running into, we run into a few. There's maybe like 3 or 4, smaller walls that we run into. Time, availability of materials, skill, whatever. But the load bearing wall we keep running up against is capital. That's why I keep bringing it up. So Eric July, at least according to him, made some millions of dollars off of his MAGA books or whatever. So with that self valuation and being in the news, he can approach someone like McFarlane and make toys. Great. But we have been doing it. We have been doing it on an indie scale. And that's not even just black indies. You know, the other cultures of indies have been making toys as well, you know? Toys, games, all that different stuff. Anything you can think of, indies have tried to make it. So I don't know. I just find that argument, or is it an argument, or just that statement kind of disingenuous, man? Because people, we're in the age of information, and people always, the refrain is always do your research, but people don't really do their research. They just, it's hot takes. They just say shit, and it's a little frustrating. They're out there. You can purchase them. You can purchase a Paragon 6 scale this second if you wanted to. 133art.com, and I'll get it out to you.
Way to plug.
Hey,
Way to plug.
Hey. I mean, I've already made millions self valuation.
Right.
No one's challenged it. But so yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Like, don't sort of point the finger and say, hey, you guys aren't doing this. And that's a lot of times what our critics or our detractors or even people that are supposedly in the mix with us always say. And again, I can probably point to you 4 or 5 people that have already done it or are already doing it. Mike Watson and them, they doing it. You know what I'm saying? There's an Ace Blade figure. It's chilling. Buy it. Go get it.
Speaking of which, Danny, give me my goddamn Ace Blade figure, man. Pay for it, man.
There are Air Force Ones figures. They exist. This man, I know for a fact, this man has been working on them for months, right? If people bought them, and you know the argument turns into, well, I don't know where to get them. How am I supposed to do that? We all got websites,
right?
If you go onto the website, 9 times out of 10, there's a listing for that thing you think doesn't exist. So I don't know. I find those kind of statements a little frustrating, not having done the research. Yeah, do some research on it is what I would say.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. I always question if you've made even $1 million, right? And I mean that if you've made $1 million net, which is what we're told to believe, and even more than that, from comic books. How do you not make $1 million or more net when you're moving animation? Something that sells at a higher price point, something that the buy-in is at a higher price point. Same for the figures and whatever else. Again, obviously the McFarlane deal is a real deal, but I've always been a heavy critic of the numbers coming out of Eric July and the Rippaverse camp. They've never made sense to me. So I'm gonna stand by that. Again, I've met people that work with the Rippaverse at various conventions. Some have purchased my books. We've had conversations, and I've maintained that stance even with them, that I don't understand how the numbers work. So I'm going to start there, because I think that's an important part of the next part of the conversation when we talk about action figures in general and how the numbers work. It's very easy to say, why aren't indie creators of any ilk doing that? Because like movies, or like when somebody's like, oh man, that comic book was dope, you should send that to Tyler Perry. Like it works like that. It doesn't work like that. Even with Air Force One's action figures or with the Paragon 6 scale, You should get that in Walmart. Yes, tomorrow we could put it on the Walmart website. We could put it on the Amazon website. Does that guarantee sales? No.
Mm-hmm.
Does that guarantee in-store sales? No. There are unit minimums that you need when you're going into big established places, and there's a minimum need that you have to already have generated in order to get in most of those places, right? You have to have sold X amount of units in order to be able to go to these places.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you filter that down, when we're talking about figures now, a lot of these are custom and homebrew figures, right? Like you said, you're painting a head sculpt for Sundiata. You're painting a head sculpt for Paragon as we speak. My wife does the majority of the painting for the Air Force One's figures. Now I'm doing the printing and some of the articulation, and we worked with Michael Freudhoff, who did like the modeling, you know what I mean? And we've done all these other things to get it done, but these are still homebrew figures, right? So how many can we produce homebrew per month? Blah 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 blah, right? Like that's one, like you said, barrier, availability, et cetera.
Right.
Time, all of that.
Right.
Right. Then you get the next step. Let's say, again, I've talked to multiple manufacturing companies. Like I said, I've crunched the numbers. I know them, and we are getting. I say all of this saying, knowing that we're getting ready to launch our action figure line in August. That's my goal right now, right? To launch in August with full production, full manufacturing, um, from a larger company that does specifically that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cheap. It's very easy to be like, why don't you give me a figure, right? And to do a 3D mock-up that AI produced for you with somebody's cover as the box back and a fake figure there, right? But again, once you get into actual mass production, it's even to get one figure done, to get the prototype done is going to run you $1,000. A good prototype run you $1,000, right? A shitty prototype is going to run you maybe 500.
Right. I was about to say 500, 600.
Right. And that's again including box and everything else. And it just depends on what quality you want, what size you want, how many joints you want, how many points of articulation. There are a lot of how many weapons, accessories, all these other things. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So $1,000 just for the prototype. Then you're looking at between 15 and 20,000 for the mold. Mm-hmm. Right? That's not a figure. That's just the thing that's going to make the figures.
That will produce the figures later.
Right. Then once you do that, now you spent your 20,000, so you're at $21,000 right now, right? And again, on the high end, I'm giving all the high numbers. Right. It doesn't make sense to give you all the low numbers because that may not be true.
The low end is homebrew.
Right, exactly. So okay, so now you're at $21,000. Okay, now you have to order the figures, and every company you're going to go to is going to again have figure minimums because it doesn't make sense for them to create a mold for you so that you could do 7 figures, right? You got to do.
You can't even walk in the door doing 7 figures,
right? You got to you're looking at 250. I think that's the lowest minimum I've got. There's a company that I'm really good with that I could probably do 100, but then I'm not going to recoup my money, right? So you're looking at 250 figures. Right. And again, they're not going to cost much at that point, but they're not going to cost much because you already paid up front for that cost.
Right.
So that 250, you've got to set that at a price point to where you make your 20 G's back. Right.
Wow.
So what are we talking about? And look,
and again, if I do all that, let's say I got a windfall of, 30 G's, 25. Mm-hmm. And I did all that today. And then somebody goes online and says, why ain't the dudes making figures? And I got the listing up on my site and I just spent 25 G's making them.
Right.
Nobody's buying them.
Right. Where exactly? Distribution?
So I spent 25 G's creating the thing, but I haven't distributed them. I spent all the money making it.
How do I promote it?
How do I promote it now?
And so even that part of it, right? Promotion and advertisement is hard for Marvel. It's hard for Disney. It's hard for huge companies. Look at how many toy lines start and then go out. How many times have they relaunched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is arguably the largest indie franchise of all time?
So I want to say this goes into something I was thinking about while you were talking, and something about the self-valuation or whatever. Look, I ain't hating. Not a hater. So if you made $1 million or millions and that's in your pocket and in your bank account, dope, fire. But what I will say is part of the disingenuousness of this conversation is that we're not taking into account where that supposed money came from, too. Mm-hmm. If we're talking about promotions, you know how much easier it is to promote to MAGA and promote within the confines of sort of white supremacist network than it is to promote and be a black person and not be that. Yeah. And to not even mention that in the conversation of this valuation is problematic. Because in this era we live in, a lot of times it goes unspoken saying, if I go on there and ask Kanye, ask Nicki Minaj right now, right? How easy it is to jump on the white supremacy bandwagon and make money off of it, because those people tend to spend money on things that are owning the libs or shitting on minorities and immigrants or whatever. Like their whole thing is to funnel their disposable income into those values, right? And that's the train that cat rode on.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't see anything with his name on it that doesn't go, forward thinking, non-liberal. You know what I mean? Like it comes out. It's got all the taglines say, non-woke,
and then those people will be avatars for that particular work, right, in a way that people like you and I won't have. And it's strong in this era because it's 24/7 in the news cycle.
I am a hater, so I'm gonna say even with all of that shit, the numbers still don't make no damn sense.
I'm with you. Look, I'm with you, but what I'm saying is, in the fake glittery, in the Ridley Scott legend world where those numbers do fucking make sense. My question, I think, is disingenuous not to mention that that's where the money came from, right? And if you don't care, if you one of them cats, you're one of the podcast dudes and podcast bros that's just all about the money, you don't care where it come from, that's your thing. I'm not talking to you. But if you have some sort of sense of decency or moral sense of justice or whatever about how we move in this world, and you're for the black, and you're for the people, and you're for the struggle, and you're for the culture or whatever, like if that's your moral sense, then you can't make millions that way. You're not gonna be able to. I'm not gonna say you can't. You could. You'd be Kanye. You'd be a sellout. You'd be a coon or whatever. If your business leans into your moral sense, then you won't want to make money that way. So I just want to put that out there. Like, yo, we ain't selling them MAGA like that. So though that valuation, that self-valuation, that people keep reporting on as if it's like, y'all seen the numbers? Right. I'd like to know, and we know how reporting acts today. Reporting is podcast world, so whatever. But again, like, how are we going to be able to do that unless we build our capital base, from our supporters, and we have to capitalize on that. And so
there was also a comment, because I responded on one of the things. Someone had said, if the audience, it was basically, if the audience would support us, then the money is there. And that's always, I think that's a very important point to highlight, in that we always get that, right? You're like, well, how do we do this or how do we do that, right? And someone is always well-meaning, by I might add. They're well-meaning, but they say, if the audience was there, we could do it. Well, yeah, if water is wet, then I'm gonna get wet. Like, if the sky is blue, then it's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, if I had $1 million, then I'd have $1 million. Yeah, I got it. Right. But when we're talking about if the audience was there, or if, or if we could get them, then that means it doesn't actually exist. Right? Like, in the form that we're talking about. I'm not saying that the audience doesn't exist. I'm not saying that the desire isn't there in some form or fashion. But just because 5 people said we should do it, or again, Jason, you should turn One Nation into a movie. You could have 100 people say that. That's well and good. Doesn't mean it's feasible just because those 100 people want it, right? In that moment and in the way that they're at, you should.
Them 100 people put some dollars on it.
Right. Oh, man, Jason, you should turn One Nation into a movie that rivals Marvel.
Heard that
You know
several
what I mean?
times.
Like that, yeah. Again, and how feasible is that? And I think that's part of the problem. There's a feasibility and a viability of these ideas sometimes that people don't take into account. It's not, you can't just flip a switch, and it's not even the old in the early days when you could do an independent movie and it cost maybe total like $1 million to make, which is still a lot of money, right?
Mhm.
But like that's after promotion and all this other stuff, right? You could go and kamikaze shoot a movie for $27 with you and your friends, and you got Clerks, right?
Man, listen, shout out to
Uh,
David Kirkman for making indie, uh, basically
oh
sci-fi
yeah, yeah, right,
superhero
right.
fair.
Underneath and
Uh,
the milestone
you know
stuff
what
he
I'm
did,
saying? Digging into his pockets and getting investors, I assume, to do that kind of stuff. Shout out to that, because
right,
that's fire.
right.
If y'all haven't seen Underneath on YouTube, y'all need to go holler at that. Um, uh, it's up to, it might be up to like 1 million views at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Last I checked, I think it was 800,000 views, but y'all should go get that some views. But um that cat is doing what we're saying, but on, I don't think it's on $1 million end, right? So um again, I agree with what you're saying, but we could make stuff. But again, the money needs to be there. Like, and I hate to be that dude, because really, y'all, in my life, I'm not focused on money like that. In my bit, like in my personal life or whatever, like in my business, I
But
sort of have to be.
business runs on capital, so
Exactly.
that's
So I have to
like
be. So I don't want to portray, like, I don't want to be the money podcast bro, dude. That's not who I am. But I keep mentioning money because I feel, again, that's the load bearing wall we keep running up against. Like, that is the biggest hurdle that we have to jump over as indies. That's why when somebody like Eric July uh, comes in and makes that much money, it's a big deal because nobody's making that much
right.
money. You know what I'm saying?
I also would be very surprised, just based on the quality and everything else, the effects and the animation and whatever,
Mhm.
if they
Well,
ultimately didn't eclipse $1 million in budget for the Underneath. Again, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like if they
mhm.
did that for under $1 million, what they were able to accomplish with that, that's dope. That's
Yeah,
a feat of cinema, right?
right,
In an old school kind of way.
right,
Because again, you
and
something like Clerks or something Hollywood Shuffle
right,
again, and this is I mean, you'd
but
have to go back and adjust the money for current times or
for
whatever.
inflation or
Yeah, for
whatever.
inflation. But they spent, shit. Robert Townsend maxed out all his credit cards, and he said that
Yeah.
he bet everything
So
on it.
did so
So
did Kevin Smith.
you know,
I think he said in a recent article, did he say it was like $1 million? I think no, he said he made
he made
like
it.
a million
Yeah, yeah,
dollars.
yeah.
But no, and that's the stuff that people like us want to do. We
Right.
100% want to do that, but we gotta, again, back to the wall, the hurdle, the load bearing wall of capital. We need to do that. Like, if you have kids, you know what I'm saying, or you trying to maintain in this whack ass Trump economy right now, like you don't have credit cards to max out
Yeah.
for that
Nah,
kind of
facts.
endeavor, right?
Facts.
So, um, you know, it's a precarious situation. We keep grinding, through it. But in terms of, and we're trying to figure it out. I just did a Substack about trying to figure out how to make your money work for you. In that particular Substack, I was talking about the market, right? And again, I ain't podcast bro in the market. Like, if that ain't your thing, that ain't your bag, that ain't your bag. I'm just trying to, as a middle-aged comic creator who is focused on promotion and capital and the higher forms of business or whatever, to bring us to another echelon, I'm interested in exploring the ideas of doing things like that or using systems like that to come up. Do I believe capitalism ultimately is going to save us or wealth building or what have you? I think they can help. We're going to save us by getting rid of the negative elements in our society. But that's another conversation. Again, I just want to reiterate, I ain't telling y'all to spend money y'all don't have. I'm at a certain point where I can spend a certain thing. And I'm only speaking from that particular perspective. And I ain't rich either. Um, So yeah, I think I keep wanting to stress, like, because we always leave, that's what it is. Those conversations, that hot take always leaves those things out of the conversation, as if
Yeah.
we're already on a level playing field,
Yeah.
and independent creators, independent black creators, aren't doing everything that they should do.
Possibly can do.
Like
Right.
we're
Yeah.
right, like we're neglecting stages of this, and that is not the case. And that's the part that frustrates me after being 20 years in a game. Like that is what be
Yeah.
kind of driving.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think that I don't know. I think that there's sometimes people want things from us, from anyone, from creative people, and again, they don't understand like the feasibility of it
Right.
sometimes and
And
the viability of it. It's like,
always,
come on, man. Like again, people there sometimes a downturn of like, why aren't you? And it's again, man, you got to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're doing the best they can. Maybe they are doing, and also maybe that's not something they want to do,
I feel
right?
like I feel
Like,
like that conversation is always tinted negatively toward us, and
yeah,
that's a problem.
yeah.
And I always my I always end up wanting to push against it.
Yeah.
You know what
How
I'm saying?
many look, how many Grindel action figures are there? There are some,
There's
right? And there are some statues and stuff, right?
I
But
think
how
McFarlane has a
exactly how long did that take and who did they link up with in order for that to happen?
Mhm.
It's not like the original creator was like, man, I'm gonna do action figures, I'm gonna you know what I mean? I'm gonna do that.
Mhm.
And even look, they were gonna do a Grindel show on Netflix. And it ended up not happening even after they had filmed some stuff and done like there are so many elements to production and producing more than just an independent comic. An independent comic, yeah, you can largely do and produce and publish on your own.
Mhm.
When you get into some of these bigger platform items,
Mhm.
it's not always a solo project, right? And it's not
It's,
dependent on what you
I would say
want to
it's
do,
never a solo
you
project.
know?
I say you always need to team up with other creatives to make something happen. I mean, again, these hot takes pit us against corporations that do these things, and you
Right,
think there's one person in the animation department doing the animation. There's
right.
it's a
It's a department.
hundred
it's,
three
it's
hundred people,
there's a reason it's a
right?
department.
There's a reason. Like 133 art is like two people,
Right,
sometimes three,
right,
right? So wingless, two people,
right.
sometimes three, right? Like so, yeah, so there's just a sort of disingenuousness. I gotta fix this image. There's a sort of disingenuousness that comes along. Uh, Maybe disingenuous is not the best word, because I don't want to. I don't want to keep pointing the finger at people who may like our stuff, but I just,
I also, but
you know what I want? I want a more thoughtful hot take or questioning when it comes to what we
I would
actually
say
do.
the
And I
people
think
that
that
actually
takes
like
us to
our stuff would one ask the question differently, and two might not ask the question. There's a difference between saying, "Hey, Jason, I like One Nation. Why isn't there a Paragon figure that I
right,
can purchase?"
right.
And saying, "Why don't black creators make action figures?" Right? Those are two very distinct, different questions.
True.
There's one I've gone through this pretty well documented on another app, or I don't want to say another app, on an app, um, where people will ask about Air Force Ones, and how that question comes out is very important, right? Some people will ask, you asked when I first pitched it to you and let you know about it, a couple years ago or a year and a half ago. Hey man, this is what I'm gonna do. He's like, oh, hey, so we don't get in trouble when we do this? And I was like, nah, man, I looked at some stuff and blah blah blah,
Oh,
right?
I'm not a
And
good gauge. I'm too straightforward when I answer
uh
the question.
but then the other version of that question, right, with the title
Uh,
is, can you legally even do this? Are you allowed to? You know what I mean? Like there's a tone and there's a nuance difference.
yeah,
The same way there's a nuance difference between saying, hey, I really want this particular figure or this line of figures or this character. I would love it to be in a figure. And the blanket statement of, why ain't y'all making action figures?
right,
Why ain't y'all doing, as opposed to, I really want,
right,
and there's a huge difference,
right,
and one that needs to be acknowledged when we're having this conversation.
right.
And again, it's a lot of times it's where that question comes from and how it comes, which is goes into a larger conversation we've had in terms of how we're criticized, how we're critiqued. You know what I mean? Again, it's how that the spirit of where that stuff comes from.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to tell you, y'all suck in order for y'all to get better. Or I
I
love
beat
this
you.
and I wish
I
this would be
beat you
better.
because I love you.
Right, right. Like it's a lot of it is nuance and the spirit in which
And,
these questions are asked.
and not everybody is a good actor when they're asking
Yeah,
that question,
yeah.
right? I think that's the heart of what you're saying is, and we know that that is true.
Right.
Not everybody
right.
is a good actor in talking about how much funds they're raising. Not
Right.
everybody is a good actor in talking about uh who they mean to produce these things for, right?
Right.
Yeah, some people are blackity black until it doesn't serve them anymore.
Right.
You know, so
Some people say
like
shit
3000 says, every Negro with dreads for the
right.
cause. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Look, I seen for us. No, what was it? By us for all or some shit. And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
how does wait, what?
How that work?
Right, 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 right. So I think that
Yeah, Nicki Minaj was. I ain't never think so, but Nicki Minaj was black until this year.
right. I never thought so, and I'm gonna say this based on what she always said, right? She always made a very clear division between her ethnicity and culture and being a black person. I always years and years and years.
I ain't going. I'm not about to go into the science of it because I could do a whole nother video. Now I ain't a hater, but I hate her. See what I'm saying? So yeah, I listen. I'm gonna say it like this: a lot of people thought she was black,
right,
until this year,
right, right.
I wasn't one of them.
No, I definitely think she wore the costume long enough for it to serve her. Like her many costumes in general. I don't necessarily think that just speaks to the black experience. Right. I think Nicki Minaj is
agreed.
She is a phony person.
That's how I knew that she wasn't what she was saying.
Whatever coat she got to pull off to be the next thing is, and that's what it's always been, right? Like, I'm Roman, I'm this, I'm that. Them ain't personalities. Those are personality traits to sell something to make some money, right? And under all of that shit, you get an evil ass woman because she always been in every personality. She been evil,
100%.
So,
100%. And
right?
That's
I ain't worried about the fucking barbs because they don't exist no more.
To adopt Barbie as a persona, as a black person is a little rough and has always been rough for me personally. And this was before the Barbie movie came out and everybody kind of adopted that as a thing.
That's aesthetically different though, right?
I agree. How again the underlying message and aesthetics of that thing changed Barbie and changed that IP a bit. But before that, to adopt that,
well, you steal little Kim,
that was white cultural iconography.
Old and whatever else, and as you pretend to be her, right? You know what I mean? Like
as you usurp her shit,
right? Like I don't.
There's again, not everybody is a good actor. Right. You have to kind of figure out, where that person is coming from, and
and that person is going to fight you tooth and nail. That person is going to tell you, I'm doing it for your own good.
Because I love you.
Right. Oh, you don't understand, and I'm making things better, and on and on and on. And I'm objective, and I am looking at it from perspectives that you're not, and on and on and on. But that doesn't mean that shit is true.
No, at all. I mean, look, you can. One of the tales is that person trying to elevate themselves above everybody.
Right.
My critique is better than your opinion. My critique is better than how much money you've made or whatever. Like these people are always the best. They're always the authority. You can tell. Don't look to me for authority. I don't want it. Real talk. Like I don't. If you think that Jason is full of shit, sometimes. Like listen. So cool. I'm cool with it. I'm fine with it. Don't take everything I say and throw it out the window. I don't give a shit about that. I'm not trying to lead people per se, right? Like that's not my deal. My deal is to come in here as a creator who's been doing this for a long time and just kind of state my opinion. I hope that is helpful. I hope that people can internalize it. But if you don't, I ain't tripping, right? Like, cool me. I don't need you to elevate me or my opinion above anything you already think. That's cool with me. Because I'm not gonna do that for you. Um, I take the good and I filter out the bad. That's a mantra. So there's that. But you can that's a tell for the bad actors. Bad actors want to be on top, and a lot of times they want to be the only one, right? They want to be the authority, and that's terrible. It's terrible. They don't want to meet us where we are. They want to tell us where we're going, and I ain't with that. So whenever I recognize that in people, I jot it down. I mark it down, and I say that person ain't shit. Um, and sometimes those people want to argue with me, but again, I don't be caring. Okay, so you said it. You said it. Good job. Um, so yeah, what else we want to talk about? Like, what's good about Black indie comics that we could talk about right now?
Tuskegee Airs is coming back.
Yeah,
Eddie Yano
so
is on TV.
I didn't get to watch the video yet.
So I didn't get to see it because it was live, right? But I saw just like a little piece or two. So they working on issue 6, which I think is dope. So look, man, if y'all see this, shouts out to Marcus and to Greg. Y'all cool people. You know, y'all are people. Also, we need to work out these cameos, bro. Since Air Force Ones is around, you know what I'm saying? Tuskegee Airs, we got to work out something. Tuskegee Airs is, I think it's the first Black indie comic I bought. Not the first indie comic I bought, but it was one of the first Kickstarters I backed. When I started collecting indie comics like 6, 7 years ago, before I got into producing my own, I didn't know anything about it, and that was one of the first ones I saw. So I think that's dope to see it come back, right? I got the graphic novel, which you had stolen for a while, and finally gave back. So I'm thankful that finally got
that's untrue. Oh, I know what's good. The homie Professor Rashad Doucette. They announced his new book for Disney Freedom Fire. Karate Road.
Oh, that's fire. Okay.
Shout out to Rashad. Good job. It's gonna be an OGN. Rashad is good at these OGNs, bro. And it's about this young cat who's a martial artist, and he's on a road trip with his sister, and they're trying to reconnect with each other, and they're trying to reconnect with the memory of their dad, and they're on the karate road, man. He's going to tournaments and learning how to be a better martial artist, and it's gonna be action packed and heartfelt, which is Rashad's, like, that's his raison d'etre.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be dope, and I can't be proud of my man. That's my dude. Like, yo, Karate Road. We've talked about something like this for years.
Yeah.
But finally, he gets to do sort of his manga epic.
That's awesome.
Apart from Pat Sampson.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited about it. I love Rashad's books. Like, even though that's my homie, my best friend. I love reading his books. I'm biased, but at the same time, I really do enjoy it. Like, Art Club was his last one. Y'all should go check that out. Y'all get that on Amazon, anywhere it's sold, through Little Brown. And Art Club was dope. And I don't even like books like that. Like, Art Club is like a drama about kids going up against their principal, trying to get an art club in their school, right? And that's not really my bag, but the way Rashad weaves in and out of MMORPG games, these kids play those, and there's some action going on there, and how the kids relate to each other. And I do relate to it because I'm an artist at heart. That's who I am. So y'all should go check out Art Club, man. That's what's good about Black Indie, baby. Right? That's dope. Right. And while I know Disney and Little Brown aren't necessarily indie companies, but it's from an indie creator, right? Rashad wrote, drew, colored, lettered, everything on these books. So you're supporting 100% Black creators. Also, back to money, if we ran them numbers up on Art Club, there'll be more Art Club, right? So shout out to Rashad. Anything else you like in Black Indie right now?
Hey, no,
Yano
Lamia
just got
season 2,
season
right?
two
Yeah,
got
yeah,
greenlit.
yeah, yeah.
They
They
got
got
the
the trailer out
movie.
there. The movie, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
just love seeing that. I love
yeah,
cartoon. As much as I'm an
man,
action
listen.
figure guy, I'm a cartoon guy at heart. So
Shout
I
out to
love seeing
shout
that.
out to Roy. Hey
Right,
man,
right.
listen.
Brandon Easton. Yeah.
Brad,
Oh, they
shout
got
out
that. What
to
you call it?
Mr. Showrunner.
They got the NAACP
Oh
noms.
yeah,
You know what I'm
they
saying?
got
So
mad noms for the
yeah.
NAACP
So
awards. So shout out to the homies,
right,
man. Like that is again, we can be proud of that.
right,
Like
right,
that's dudes we know that are
right,
really doing it. You know, they're not self-evaluating themselves.
right.
So that's dope. What else? I'm feeling good about this positivity track. Oh, shout out to Marcus from Second Sight.
Oh yeah, he always hustling.
Marcus is out there hustling. Is it in Florida? I want to say it's
Yeah, he's got a show this weekend, right?
yeah, I want to say
Yeah.
he hustling out there in Florida. He's hustling 133 art books as well. He actually just printed a round of books for Second Sight that he's selling out there too. He is also selling some
He's got stuff
MV Media books.
Yeah.
He ain't got none of your books.
He was supposed to get my books from you, but I wasn't gonna bring it up. I was gonna let it go. I also owe Marcus some pages, man. I owe him a 12-page story.
This dude blames. This dude's a victim blamer.
He actually prints the books and sends them to people.
Okay, but you didn't tell me to.
I told you like 6 times. That's fine.
Whatever.
Literally, and sends the books.
I will say another good thing. I mentioned it earlier, but 133 Art Publishing has Substack now. And I just did our 4th Substack essay. It's called The Perks of Being Hood Rich. And it's talking about money in comics or how to manage your money a little bit. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just telling y'all what I'm thinking and what I might do. Because I don't like to talk, I don't like to tell people what to do. And I don't like to talk from the perspective of being an authority. I'm just telling y'all what I'm thinking and what I might do. And if you like that, you should go holler at our Substack. 133 Art Publishing. There's 4 of them up there. We're gonna end up doing some comics. We are in talks to launch a couple of web comics, but I'm not showing the theologists yet. They ain't ready.
I like it. It's
and
hilarious.
We'll have some free subscriptions and some paid subscriptions over there to keep the whole thing going. What else do we got? Oh, there's a new T-shirt that's coming out from Black Heroes Matter. Shout out to Uraeus. Is fire, fight injustice, resist evil. All day long for that. I love that brand. If y'all don't know, Black Heroes Matter is a T-shirt brand from one of our indie creators, Uraeus. He also has created a book called Jason Wise.
And Tablets of Kush.
Morian, which is a black ass knight during the times of King Arthur. So yeah. What else? Couple more things. And I just want to end on a positive note. My man, my homeboy, creator of Bitterroot, or at least one of the creators of Bitterroot, David F. Walker, has a new book out. It's called Black Film, and it's a retrospective about Black film. This dude, look, David loves Black film. He loves blaxploitation stuff, and anything he says on that level, he is an authority. Like David a beast. He's a very smart cat. Y'all know him from Bitterroot. Y'all know him from John Henry and the White Boy from last year. One of the only comics that ever made me tear up. You feel me? So y'all need to go holler at that. Black Film. Man, look for that. So
yeah,
I
think you covered.
Good stuff. So we are going to sign off?
Yeah, man.
We're signing off. This is not necessarily our first, but this is
the first official. Like we've done it before. Like this is the first official time we're sitting down in the same space, talking our talk.
Dig it. Talking our shit.
Right.
Because we curse on this show. And yeah, so man, look, peace and love to y'all. Where can they find you and your new shit?
winglessent.com is the hub for everything. We're all also across all socials except for Twitter, because that is a hellscape, as Wingless Comics. So again, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, We are the only wingless comics. You can't miss us. Check us out.
I'm squeezing my social media. Like I don't have the bandwidth for all this crap anymore. Like in this evil regime that we dealing with that we trying to get rid of, I just want to consolidate, make a hub, and do my thing. But fine, I'm Jason Reeves. You can find me at 133art.com. Forgive the site right now. I'm updating. It's ugly, but you can still buy the stuff. It still works. It's just ugly right now. You can find us at our new Substack at 133 Art Publishing. What is it? 133 Art Publishing.substack.com. And that's going to be our secondary hub for the time being. Um, you can find us on most of the socials at 133 Art, at 133 Art Publishing. We're still on IG, we're still on Facebook. Um, we just got off TikTok because Hellscape
Right.
Part 2.
Right.
And Surveillance Hellscape.
Right. We might be doing the same over at Wingless. We haven't fully decided yet, but
I never fully realized TikTok anyway, so I felt like now's a good time before they really start surveilling us.
Yeah.
So I'm off, but still on IG, still on Facebook, however hypocritical that is. And we are. What else are we on? I think that might be it. We're on Blue Sky. Oh, Threads.
I say, but nobody else is on Blue Sky.
Yeah, sorry guys. So yeah, so we're there. You can find us at those places. And if you frequent quick Kickstarter, we're on there.
Yeah.
Like
Kickstarter, yep.
That's where you can buy stuff. So yeah. Man, y'all stay cool. Don't be bad actors, man. And if you love black indie comics, fuck with us.
All right. Get out and support, bro. You ain't got to deride them in order for them to do better.
Nah, you ain't got to. If you want something to beat us to love us, man.
If you want something from an indie creator, I'll bet you if you DM them and say, "Hey, man, I'd really like to see an action figure or a shirt or a whatever," they're gonna be all about it.
Absolutely, you would make their day, and also 9 times out of 10, it exists. They'll shoot you a link. So let's do that, man. Let's show love, man. That's what it's really about. So yeah, we out of here. Peace.